Hello and welcome to the Breslin Center for Impact 89 FM WDBM. I'm Zachary Swasicki alongside Julian Mitchell, Zach Manning. We're here in East Lansing for Maryland, Michigan State. Women's basketball, Maryland defeated Michigan State 89-72. Number 3 ranked Terrapins come into town. Brianna Jones, Shatori Walker-Kimbrough really stole the show today.
Yeah, they were both fantastic. Walker-Kimbrough showed her jump shot, her strengths from mid-range, her passing ability, but Jones was the key for the Terps. They got it down low. She was able to body everybody down low, Reimer, Johnson, all of them. Those two fouled out, and she was able to just dominate down in the paint.
Tough loss for the Michigan State Spartans, 17-point loss. Kind of misleading because Shatori Walker-Kimbrough knocked down 2 late threes to really spread that game open. But 2 positives out of this game. Tori Jankowska reached 2,000 points, first Spartan ever, and Susie Merchant back on the sideline for the first time in about a month after her medical leave of absence. Susie Merchant, it'd be an understatement to say she was happy to be back.
Felt really good. Yeah, it's been, I know my husband's happy because I keep spending a lot of money apparently online. We got new stools for our kitchen, and I got a couple new outfits. So he's like, "Can you please start working?" So, no, honestly, it felt good. It just, I've been feeling a lot better in the last week or so.
Tori Jankowska is the ultimate team player. She leads the team in almost every category possible. She had 42 points against Ohio State, but just was happy the team had a win. She had 23 tonight, reached 2,000 points, but she really wanted the team to get the win.
Yeah, obviously, for sure, would rather have the win. But it is a really cool accomplishment, and, it kind of is all hard work and keep improving your game, and great things can happen.
Tori Jankowska, like I said, leading the team in almost every statistical category, as well as mentally, physically on the court. She's a coach on the court, according to Susie. How good is Tori Jankowska?
Well, Tori's fantastic. I mean, we talk about her from the basketball on the court perspective. She's scoring, she's rebounding, she's assisting. But off the court, as a leader, she's just absolutely fantastic. And that's what you want from a player, someone who can produce on the court and then produce off the court as well.
Yeah, she's up for multiple Player of the Year awards. She's on the watch list now. She has the pressure on her. She was hassled by this Terrapin defense, but she still dropped 23 points. Also, Brandy Agee, 11 points, and Tyra Reimer as well above 10 points. First time this season the Spartans have lost with 3 scorers scoring more than in double figures. It's tough against this Maryland defense. They almost scored 90. They averaged 90 points. They scored 89. But if you get this kind of output from those 3 players, that's probably a win for the Spartans going forward.
Yes, I completely agree. I mean, you have this kind of output, you're going to win most games. This is just a game where it's tough because you're playing against a team that can match that with 2 to 3 scores that can also score in double figures. So it's just a little rough. You just could ask for a little bit more scoring. And Jankowska, although she had 23, not a very efficient night for her. She could chip in a little bit more. But overall, a great performance.
The Spartans 8 of 25 from 3. Not a great night shooting, like you said, Julian, but they really got dominated down low. That was the story of the game. That's ultimately what cost the Spartans this win. Brianna Jones dominated with a double-double. Whoever was guarding her, whether it was Tyra Reimer, Jenna Allen, or Kennedy Johnson, she seemed to have her way with anyone. And down low, points in the paint. Maryland 46-26, and as well as rebounding, they almost doubled Michigan State in that category. Almost doubled them in free throws as well. Brianna Jones going almost perfect from the line. Brianna Jones, what can you say about her?
Oh, she is absolutely amazing. I mean, Coach Merchant talked about it. You don't see many players now who are back down and will play you in the post like she does, but she's fantastic. She gets great position down low, and she finishes everything. She was perfect through most of the game, went 7 for 7 up until like the third quarter, so she was just fantastic down low.
The Spartans assisted on most of their made field goals, but post-game, Susie Merchant talked about how they had a lot of empty offensive possessions.
Yeah, I mean, that third quarter was probably the one that got us. I think we only scored 9 points in that quarter. Just we were a little bit flat. I think early we had good energy. They're just the thing. They just, it's really hard. There's not many teams out there that have a power back to the basket 5-man like that. They're hard to find anymore. Nobody wants to be a back to the basket 5-man. Brianna Jones is as good as they get. The problem with Maryland with regards to that is you're right. We had a lot of good things happen to us, but they just dominate the paint that way. And if you double her, they got shooters everywhere, and so I just don't think you can get to the double, and I don't think it's as effective. So we tried to go one-on-one. I still, I told the team I feel like I need to take a lot of ownership in the post defense because I really don't understand what is and isn't a foul. I'm struggling with that, just like when someone is backing you down and creating the contact versus, and then we do the same thing. And I know it's not an easy thing to referee. And so I just have to educate myself better, because it's not just this game. It seems like every game our posts tend to get in foul trouble. And so that's on me as a coach to get better and make sure maybe there's some things we can do differently down there to adjust, to make sure we're not in those situations. But the free throw line, I mean, they just shot twice as many free throws as we did, and they own the paint.
Tori Jankowski, the leader of this team, she had 2,000 points. She had 23 points tonight. Susie Merchant's back. They do lose to Maryland, and they have 4 games left in the regular season before the Big Ten tournament in early March. Going forward, this would have been a huge statement win for the Big Ten tournament, for the NCAA tournament resume. Going forward, next 4 games, toughest game has to be at Michigan, who's 21st in the country now.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been a huge statement win. And you think about it, they played a pretty good game. They hung in. They were down 5 or 6 throughout the game. I mean, like you said, it would have been a huge statement win. Obviously, couldn't pull it out, but like you said, at Michigan's going to be a huge, huge game. I mean, they're number 21 in the country, one of the best teams in the Big Ten. So if they can pull that one off on the road, that would be a huge resume boost. And then they should win the next 3. I mean, those are winnable games, like Tori Jankowski said. But if they can win all 4, that would be huge, and that would propel them in the Big Ten tournament and the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, they're really important. These last 4 games are definitely winnable, and we got to come in with high focus, high energy every practice, and really have everybody on the same page.
Next game is home at the Breslin Center against Minnesota. I don't know if this is an overstatement, but I think this is as much as a must-win as this team has had all season. Losing this game, they'd go 6-7 in the Big Ten, and they're looking at maybe not even a bye in the Big Ten tournament.
Yeah, I mean, it's not an overstatement at all. It's a must-win game because you can't. They beat them earlier in the year, and on your home court, you have to beat the teams that are in the lower tier of the Big Ten. You can't lose this game on your home court.
As far as the NCAA tournament resume goes, they lose to Maryland, but they showed the committee what kind of resiliency this team has and what kind of scrap they have.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the overall game. Like I said earlier, they lost by about 17 points or so, and you know they were down 5 or 6 for most of the game. But the pieces they had together, Reimer with the big game, Tori Jankowski with 23, and AG chipping in over 10 points too. So they had the pieces there, which is I would say this is more their most complete game of the season. So going forward, if they can build on that, they could be a dangerous team in March.
Susie Merchant talked about that post game, what they need to improve on, if anything, to go forward in this season.
Yeah, I mean, I think, the February fight is on. It's real. There's we have 2 home games and 2 away games, and certainly opportunities, where we can put our best foot forward. We can control our own destiny, and I think that's where you want to be. There's probably a couple games we wish we could have had back, or a possession here or there, but it's a really young team.
We did get to witness about 3 possible All-Americans in this game. Brianna Jones, Shatori Walker-Kimbrough, and Tori Jankowski playing today. All 3 of them up for Big Ten Player of the Year, up for Wade Watch, up for Naismith. Tori not up for the Wooden, but the other 2 are. Who is so impressive, or what makes them all so impressive?
I mean, yeah, like you said, they're all so impressive. But what stands out to me is Tori, how she just carries her team. We talked about it a little bit earlier, but she does everything for the Spartan team. She scores, she rebounds, she assists. So that kind of stands out to me. But for Maryland, you look at what Brianna Jones and Shatori Kimbrough Walker do for each other. They kind of feed off each other with the pick and roll because one's a guard, one's a big. So they kind of work together, and that makes them so good. But if I had to pick one to give the award to, it would be Tori Jankowski because she does everything.
She does do everything for the Spartan team. Leads the team, like we said, in almost every statistical category. Reaches 2,000 points. Susie Merchant is back for the Spartans after almost a month leave of absence. Spartans drop their 6th game in Big Ten play to Maryland, number 3 ranked Terrapins, 89-72 here at the Breslin Center. Next game will be against Minnesota next Thursday at 7 p.m. We will be in the Big Ten tournament at Indianapolis in early March, so we'll have all of your content for you on impact89fm.org/sports. Also follow Impact at WDBM_sports. Follow all of us and listen to our weekly podcast, the Women's Basketball Podcast. Again, I'm Zachary Swasicki alongside Julian Mitchell, Zach Manning here from the Breslin Center. Thanks for watching.